Good evening from Berlin, everyone. I hope you guys had a nice relaxing weekend. Thank you for being with us here today. I am Erica Madrinian. I am part of the partner marketing team responsible for educating our partners. Today is already our 11th session. To our first timers, welcome to the Get Your Guide Partner Forum. This is a weekly webinar where we share knowledge and insights and provide you, our partners, the opportunity to ask us anything. Before I hand you over to our amazing speakers, I want to go over how the session will work today. First, your audio, video, and chat are disabled, but at any point in the webinar, you can ask questions using the Q&A icon below. Before entering your question, though, check if someone has already asked a similar question, and you can simply upvote so there will be less duplicates. We'll make sure to answer as much questions as we can during the Q&A session at the end. Lastly, after the webinar, we will send a follow-up email with the recording, the presentation, and some helpful links. So don't worry about that. Thank you for being with us again here today, and let's get started. For today's partner forum, we will start with some helpful, useful Get Your Guide resources. Anisha, part of our partner marketing team, will need some important partner feedback on a project we're working on called Destination Guides. This is definitely going to be helpful for your business. Our second useful resource, Dennis will share an article that we created that shows travel restrictions around the world. Together, our main topic is a panel discussion with three of our top online publishers. We have Jurga from Full Suitcase, Claudia from My Adventures Across the World, and Walter from Resrutus. They will introduce themselves more later with Dennis Berger as our moderator. They will be sharing their challenges and opportunities at this particular moment, which hopefully will inspire you in your businesses. Great. And of course, we will definitely end with Ask Me Anything with Dennis Berger and our guest speakers. Without further ado, here is Anisha to jumpstart our session today. See you guys later during our Q&A. Bye.
Hey, I hope everyone's having a good evening. And I'd like to introduce myself. I am Anisha, and I'll be talking a bit about destination guides. I work with the business development team in the marketing department, and we came out with this product on the assumption that this may help you. And we also would like to get your opinion. The main reason is to get your opinion and your feedback on this product. And if at any time you want to ask questions, you can definitely ask us in the Q&A section, and we would either answer it over email or towards the end of the call. So let's start. So the main reason why we decided to have the destination guides is because we realized that some partners wanted us to provide you guys with inspirational content. So the solution we came out with was destination guides, where we thought it would be a go-to place to find key information about, say, what is the top location and the top tour, and to inspire and to help you produce more content and whatever way you want to produce this content. So what we would be providing is maybe a brief description on the top attractions, a brief description of the city, images of top attractions. And also we thought we could provide you top tours on a domestic and international basis, given that right now we expect more domestic travel than international. And with regard to these tours, we would give you details such as which are the top tours in which categories, say in a walking tour or a city cruise, or and what is the language of this tour, and also what is the rating of this tour. So this is with regard to our destination guides. Could we move on to the next slide, please? So we decided we can provide you the destination guides in two ways. One option was an Excel sheet, and we'll move on to the next option later. First is the destination guide, where on the Excel sheet version, where we will share all the details on an Excel sheet. As you can see, I'm sure it's a little small. You can't see all the details, but you can see the description, you can see what are the tour categories, a difference between the domestic categories and the international categories, as well as to which are the top tours in amongst these travelers. And towards the end of the sheet, we would have images which hasn't been populated as of yet. So this is still work in progress. We're waiting on getting your feedback so that we can add more columns and make the content more relevant for you guys. So the second option, could we move on to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So the second option are city pages, which we will be hosting on our partner portal. So this is a rough vision of how it looks like. We've not yet drawn it out completely. There will be images and pictures. This is the second version of how we thought we could present this data to you. We understand that everybody would want data in different ways. So we want to know which one is the right way for you to get what you require. And we will be conducting a small poll post this to see how what your reaction to these pages are and which one works better for you. So in this, it won't be an Excel sheet. It would all be on the partner portal itself. And you can always give us a feedback on any extra details that you would want us to put into these destination guides. Yes, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so time for our poll. We're going to be asking y'all a couple of questions and y'all can just answer as to which one y'all feel is most suitable for you. Okay, so in the first question is, in terms of usefulness, how do you find the destination guides? Do you find it extremely useful? Is it just useful? Is it partly useful for you? Or is it not useful at all? Is it extremely useful, or you're not sure if it's useful? You can select any one option. Okay, I think we can move on to the next question if everyone's done.
Please share the result.
Okay, so we have 30% saying that it's extremely useful, which is good, and another 33% saying it's just useful, which is really good. This is something that you'll see being something that you can use. Not sure, maybe we could catch up with, you can tell us why you're not sure about it so that we can maybe add more items to these destination guides to help you out. Okay, moving on to the next question. So which one did you prefer? Did you prefer the Excel sheet or the city page version? Or would you like both, or neither? Destination guides are just not useful to you? Okay, I hope everyone has given their inputs. Maybe we could get the results. Okay, so city page seems like it was more relevant, but not far behind is both. 11% says neither, which we're aware that not that these destination guides are not for everybody, and that few people may actually be more interested in this than the others. Okay, thank you. Then the next question. Okay, what's more relevant to you? Us providing you with information to build your own destination assets, or GetYourGuide providing a co-branded customer-facing asset? The reason why we put forth this question is we want to help our partners, not just with partner-facing assets, but also with customer-facing assets, which we would want to co-brand with our partners. So if you feel that you would want a co-branded asset, or do you want to have information to build your own destination assets? Because we know some people will have their own vision of how their assets should be to their customers. So which one makes more sense for you? Would you want both options, or would you want neither? Okay, thank you. I think we can get the results in that poll. Um, So 50% say that they want both information and co-branded customer facing assets. We can work on this, how we would be able to provide the customer facing assets, because it would require investment from us to make sure that we edit these assets in a way that it's co-branded for both of us, and we can ensure that we work together on this. So it's good that we're collecting this data. We'll get more data as to how we'll do this in some time. Okay. So the last question. Okay. Like I did mention earlier, domestic travel is becoming more relevant than international travel. And we have mentioned both details on our destination guides, that is domestic travel details and international travel details. So we want to know whether you as partners, would y'all be altering your market to adapt to the increase in domestic travel over international travel? So your options would be whether you're focusing currently only on domestic travel and not on international, or are you focusing only on international travel? Or is domestic your main focus with a bit of international travel as well? Or is international continuing to be your main focus and you'll may diversify a bit into domestic travelers? Okay, cool. Let's get the results for this last poll. Um, so we have 52% saying that international is the main focus with a bit of domestic, and 30% saying domestic is the main focus with international travel as a side focus. So we can see what we can do about this data. Maybe because we are trying to encourage more of a domestic outlook. In our destination guides, that was our main focus. But if we feel that partners are looking into international markets as well, we will try to improve that data as well. Okay, that's great. So that's it with the poll for today. And we just wanted to get a little bit understanding on destination guides and what y'all thought about it, and it's a good response. And we'll provide y'all with further details as time goes by, and we have more concrete data that we can share with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anisha. So I will be very quick in introducing the travel restrictions map, just pointing you at the resource so that we have enough time for our panel discussion. So what you see if you follow the link included in this presentation, which will be shared in our shared email, we basically have developed a travel restrictions map which is updated every other day, which basically gives you 3 color codes, red, green, and brown. And the color code basically indicates if there's no restriction, which is green, if it's partially restricted, which is brownish, grayish, and then if or completely restricted, in which case it's red. What is more helpful than just the color coding is that for each of the countries structured by continent, We are sharing whether it's possible to travel to the country, whether it's possible to travel domestically in the country, whether there are any restrictions and what type of restrictions for restaurant, bars, and sightseeing, whether it's possible to leave the country, whether it's necessary to quarantine after visiting the country, whether there's like any pending changes for the summer vacation, and whether it's possible to return to that country without quarantine, and whether it's allowed to bring relatives to the country. So it's quite helpful as an overview. It's also potentially helpful for you to link to set a cookie for somebody who apparently is looking for something. So that's why we meant to share it as a helpful resource for you for information, as well as for potentially linking to it. Needless to say, to be 100% on the safe side, when it really, really matters, we encourage you to double check on any of the information, as it is only updated every other day. And because there's quite a bit of dynamic in the market, as you all will have noticed. All right, moving on. Now I'm really excited that we are having a panel discussion today with 3 of our top online publishers. Before getting to the introductions, let me point out the reason that we are having this session is actually because of you, because of the feedback that you have given us, because of your ask to also provide a platform for having more exchange and more interaction between the partners that are supporting in our network. And hence I'm very excited to introduce this panel with Claudia and Julika and Wouter. Rather than myself introducing them, I would love every one of them if you could please, in just 1 minute, introduce your name and your company's name, what your website is about, including the primary target audience, and how long you have worked with GetYourGuide. Please be short so that we have enough time for the panel discussion. So let's start with Claudia. And if all 3 of you could please already share video and unmute. Thank you.
Hi, it's so nice to be here. My name is Claudia, as Danny said, and I blog at my adventures across the world. I have a second site that is called Strictly Sardinia, which I think you know what it's about. It's Strictly Sardinia. My main target audience is the United States and pretty much any English language speaking country. So US, UK, Canada, Australia, a bit of Singapore, Hong Kong, South Africa, which makes it a bit hard for me because I am based in Italy. I'm Italian, and so I have to find new ideas all the time on content I need to produce at this time.
Thank you, Claudia. Moving on to Julika.
Hi everyone, my name is Jurga and I run a travel blog Full Suitcase. It's actually a family travel blog, but it's a bit of a mix of city trips, road trips, nature destinations, and pretty much any kind of trips that we ourselves do as a family. And our main audience is the same as Claudia said, like most English-speaking websites, is coming from the US, UK, Australia, and pretty much a big mix of a lot of countries. And I've been working with GetYourGuide for 2.5 years now, and I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you very much. And last not least, over to Wouter.
Hey, hello, I'm Wouter. I'm the co-owner and content creator at reisroutes.be. We are based in Belgium, and we are primary target audience are people from 35 and older who want to plan their road trip or city trip on their own. We are providing itineraries, walking tracks, and travel guides in PDF. and we are working with GetYourGuide for almost 2 years.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Walter. So all of you already very experienced also with GetYourGuide. I would like to ask you a few questions and then also reserve 20 minutes at the end for our forum to ask questions to you. So we will see how far we get. I will change turns of whom I'm asking when, but I would like to start with you, Claudia, and the others get to benefit from hearing the question already, because it will be the same for everyone. So perhaps you could tell us what turned out for you and your business the greatest challenge resulting from the COVID-19 context and pandemia, and what you found particularly useful in helping you deal with it and overcome it as far as possible.
Well, the biggest challenge was definitely to remain focused, because when you see the world crumbling in front of you, the world you built and the business you built crumbling in front of you, it's kind of hard to stay motivated. And, you know, my mood has been swinging from being extremely positive, thinking, oh, it's gonna pass soon, to being extremely negative and thinking, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? What helped me the most, honestly, I have to say, you guys helped a lot, because seeing that you invested so much in us, and you know, all these webinars you did, kind of like having this weekly meeting at 5 p.m. every Monday helps, and knowing that I have to do this, and knowing that there's other people in my situations, and knowing that, well, GetYourGuide hasn't lost hope, so I shouldn't lose hope. So that really kept me going.
Oh, I must point out, this has not been pre-scripted.
No, it has not.
So thank you very much, Claudia. That's it's very encouraging feedback. Very happy to hear that. And I must say, I don't know anyone so far who hasn't gone through all the different waves. So definitely you can empathize with that a lot. And let's over to Jurga. What was your greatest challenge, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I'll start with, as being a family travel blogger, my biggest challenge was dealing with family being at home 24/7, actually trying to do something. Not even speaking about your business basically being crushed by the whole situation. But then after a while we found some balance, and then the next step was the uncertainty. What should I work on? Should I create new content? What kind of content? And also lots of affiliate programs, which started basically canceling on many affiliates like us on websites. So those were all lots of uncertainties. And after a while also that settled. And in times of uncertainty, I decided to just focus on doing things that I knew best. And in my case, that was just continuing basically doing the same as I did before. And I had a huge list of blog posts that I could finally do, which have been waiting for more than a year, so that's a good thing. And I also spent a lot of time reviewing existing articles and looking for opportunities to include more links, or to change existing links, or to update content so that it's more relevant. And I've been changing a lot of Viator links for GetYourGuide. So that's been my last 3 months.
Ooh, you're putting me really on the spot now. At some point in time, they will think it's pre-scripted. It's not. But you can tell us, maybe just to set a benchmark, how many articles have you created? How many have you optimized? Was it with the team?
I have to look at my list. I think I've been doing like 3-4 new ones a week. And I think I optimized in the last 3 months about 150 articles, which is like half of my website. But I mean, most of them were okay. So most of them didn't require more than like half an hour, maybe a couple of minutes even in some cases, but there were a couple which takes 3-4 hours. So I could only do it because my husband basically took care of the kids.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think just using this situation of basically when the world stands still to look what you can improve and hope that it comes back.
It's very impressive, and even more impressive in the context of having to manage child caring as well. And Wouter, over to you. What turned out to be the greatest challenge for you, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, like Jurga and Claudia said, the first days and weeks, it was like having a shock and then overcoming it. And yeah, then you have like a period, okay, what can we do from now on? But we in our company, we are working with like a 6-month strategy plan every 6 months. So yeah, no matter what the revenue side was, we decided to keep publishing and try to execute the strategy plan and the articles. But beside that, we also were thinking, oh, can we do something out of the box? Can we create something new? Because we are as travel bloggers or content creators, we are in a bad situation, but everybody in the travel business is in the same situation. So we were thinking of creating kind of platform so we can distribute and share our content with a lot of people who are in the travel business, like the hotel owners or B&B owners. And we have set up this the last couple of weeks. So from now on, we will try to roll this out and try to find new markets. So,
what markets? Or how are you prioritizing markets? Maybe to make it
yeah, the new markets are like hotel owners, but also try to reach companies who are travel related, like the smaller companies who are renting car companies, things like that, to share our content with them and have like a win-win situation. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Wouter. Wouter, I will let's continue with you and the second question. So customer engagement always matters, and particularly in times of crisis, people always continue wanting to travel even when they can't. So perhaps could you, Wouter, please share what you have found to be most successful in engaging your audience in the current market context?
Yeah, we with Restroutes, we send every 2 weeks a newsletter, and if somebody downloads content from the website, we are sending a follow-up email to ask, can you give some reviews on the content you have downloaded? But from the moment the pandemic broke out, we decided to stop this way of communicating with our audience, because we had some like negative feedback on it, and instead of like promoting and sending new opportunities or travel deals, we started on our Facebook page to share more funny videos. I don't know, you have seen them, like people who are traveling from home, they are sitting in front of their washing machine, and yeah, they want to create a feeling you are in an airplane. That kind of movies we shared on our Facebook page, and for us it was the ideal way to communicate with our Facebook fans and have them like a more happy view on life.
You really changed my picture of washing laundry. It will be much more fun in the future. Claudia, how about yourself?
I did a bunch of different things. So on my blog, I I continued posting content as if nothing happened. And then, you know, obviously I started a second blog. With regards to social media, with Instagram, I decided to start posting photos of Italy, because, you know, Italy was the first country to go down in this big pandemic. So I decided to post photos of Italy, mostly Sardinia, because that's where I'm from, mainly to show the beauty of it, to say Italy is going to be here in a year. It's waiting for you. You know, mainly to keep positive, to give support to my country, which I owe it. I owe to it very much. And then, you know, I sent, I'm not a fan, I've never been a fan of newsletters, meaning that I always find the process of writing a newsletter extremely tiresome. I'm never inspired. But then I decided that I should. I decided that I owe it to my readers. And so I sent a couple of newsletters, and one of them was specifically at the very beginning of the pandemic, when Italy was still the only country in lockdown. I sent a newsletter asking them to please stop traveling and just you know, stay put where you are. It's not a good time to travel right now. Many countries are closing, and you know, they appreciate it. They replied to me, and maybe one person said, I don't want to stop traveling because countries need my support, because small businesses need my support. But most of the others that replied to me thanked me for that, and thanked me for the newsletter. And in fact, I turned it into a blog post eventually that actually got quite a few shares. And I was actually positively surprised. So I've done a little bit of everything. I haven't shared funny videos because most of the funny content that I was seeing those days was Italian. And so when you have an audience that is all English, that, you know, English language, it didn't make any sense. I kept those to myself and laughed a lot. You know, the picture of the you know, washing machine, I had that. Yeah.
Excellent, Claudia. Thank you very much. And will you continue your email newsletter in the future? I mean, you turned it into a blog, but will you has your excitement increased to have your own email newsletter?
You know, what I loved, what I really enjoyed about writing those newsletters is that it brought me back to the initial writing of my blog. It was more about me than about anything, than about a destination. It was me telling my followers how I felt and the challenges I was facing and the sadness I was feeling. And, you know, they really liked the fact that I opened up in a personal way. And I asked them, please let me know if there's something I can do for you at this time. If you have nobody to talk to, just talk to me, let me know. And so I think I should do it. I haven't done it again. I'm sorry. I'm not very focused on this because I like writing blogs, but I think I should.
Excellent. We have seen that for some OPs, it's working quite well as an additional traffic source next to search and others. Over to Jurga. How about yourself and your best practices in customer engagement during this time?
It's difficult because it went from very different situation in different countries, went to everyone in lockdown and things opening up again. I've tried a bit of everything. I have newsletter as well, where I basically also communicate more personal things and also ask people questions, so that always gets lots of engagement. I also share lots of things on Facebook and things that struggles we have, canceling our own trips, asking people how their situation is, and that usually gets lots of response because everyone seems to want to share their stories, and lots of people are canceling so many trips, so there are lots of stories to tell. And I also kept some kind of a quarantine diary on my blog throughout the whole period. I just slowed down a bit, like since a week. So that was my outlet of telling things, whatever frustrations and challenges and what was happening in our country. So I shared that link with my readers a couple of times so they could follow along. Mm-hmm. For the rest, just regular things, once in a while, some stories and pictures from trips from last year. And that always gets lots of engagement because I think people want to dream and they want to think about future travels as well.
Thank you, Jurga. I was let me close with the third and last question, so that we have enough time for the forum to ask questions. Could you perhaps share what was the, like, if you think of this forum, other online publishers, what is the one thing that you really want to tell them, and the one thing that you really would like them to walk away from this discussion, and that you think would be most helpful for them to consider and to know about how you have been dealing with the whole situation?
Well, if I just one thing, I think when you feel really crushed, as we all did in the last couple of months after you saw your business collapse, I think you should just focus on the future and not look at what happened. Just try to build the new foundation, and I'm sure things will pick up. It will take lots of time, probably for some destinations. Some others will pick up quicker. But yeah, just keep on doing what you are best at, and hope for the best.
And Claudia, how about yourself? What is the one thing that you would advise the others in this call?
You know, I'm not very good at this because I'm not a patient person. So I will use the words my mom told me. Be patient. This is going to pass. Everybody's facing the same issues. Everybody's in the same situation. And it has to change because people want to travel. So stay focused and patient.
Patient and focused.
Don't be like me, in other words.
That's good advice. And Wouter, how about you?
Yes, I would say almost the same. Don't lose your trust in your business, in yourself, and keep creating great content which helps others to make great trips. And if you are doing this, I'm sure in the end it will be great again.
Thank you very much. That's very, very helpful. And maybe we can open for the forum discussion. Erica, please. So let's see. So everyone is now invited to ask questions. Please indicate if it's to somebody specific, whether it's for Jurga, Wouter, or Claudia, or if it's for all. Be aware that asking a question for all would also take time in answering, and therefore not allow as many questions from the others. So ideally, be concrete to one person that is most similar perhaps to your situation.
So yeah, just to remind everybody, if you have any question, please put it in the Q&A section below. Just type it in there. Don't be shy. These are our top online publishers, some of our top online publishers. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you also check out their websites, they also have very different platforms and topics and target market. So you can ask anything that you would be interested in.
And while we wait for the first questions to arrive, I'm going to ask Wouter again. We already spoke about domestic many times. I also introduced that we see this pick up most right now. What is your content strategy to deliver domestic travel related to content to your audience?
Yeah. With Reisroutes, we started over 10 years ago already, and in the beginning, our main market was like 300 kilometers around Brussels. So for us, we see these are the first things which are picking up again. We see like the Netherlands, Germany, France. These are the destinations a lot of our readers are looking for now. And we see the bookings of hotels are coming up again, and it's mainly for these destinations. I would say, yeah, something you can easily reach by car. It's now our main focus for upcoming months.
Thank you, Wouter. We have received first questions. I will always fill gaps with additional questions from myself, but Erica, do you want to read them out, or?
I can do that. So this first question is actually for you, Dennis. From Barbara, I'm running a destination site, Vienna Unwrapped, and have now translated my content into German to extend my audience to the German market. Question for you, Dennis. Your team let me know that at the moment it is not possible for GetYourGuide widgets to automatically switch to the language of the source market. Are there any plans to change this in the future?
So we will actually introduce several widget innovations and product improvements in Q3. So we already allocated time and are currently prioritizing. So your feedback is very well timed.
Perfect. Again, we take all of your feedback into consideration. We put this in this vast list of all your feedback and ideas, and we pass this to our partner tech. Thank you so much, Barbara. Our next question is from Jason. This is for our panelists. What is your #1 inspiration for writing content? For example, existing to-do list, picture, walking around, recent news, etc. Maybe we can start with Jurga.
Yeah, I have a to-do list. That's more than if I don't have inspiration, that's where I will look. But my main ideas usually come from our readers who ask questions. If somebody takes their time to send me an email or to leave a comment and ask something, then it gives me an indication that we couldn't find that answer easily. So very often I end up writing a new blog post just because somebody asked me some questions.
Yeah. That's really smart. I mean, we always want to give the kind of content our readers want to consume. So that's really good. And how about you, Claudia?
In my case, I have a list of destinations that I visited that I've never had the time to write about, so that I have stuff to write forever and ever. Even if I don't set, well, I want to travel, but you know, I haven't had trouble finding inspiration. And the thing is that the more I write, the more I realize I have to write. So if I write a generic post about a city, then I realize I want to write specific guides for every single attraction in the city, because those are very useful. Sometimes in a generic post, I cannot share enough details about how to visit a specific attraction, and so I do it separately in a specific post. And I find that the more I write, the more I have ideas on other topics to write. So the secret here is to literally keep writing.
Yeah, exactly. Now that we have more time. And how about you, Walter?
Yeah, we check, okay, where are the gaps in our articles, and we see which attractions are in that city. That's one thing. And on the other hand, we also organize polls with our readers. So every 6 months we are sending a poll, and then we are asking, okay, which destinations we are not covering yet you would like to see a new travel guide about, and then we are listing it up, and we are working on that.
Cool, very interesting. Thank you. Our next question is from Antoine. This is for you, Claudia, and maybe Walter, you can also explain because you've mentioned it a while ago. Claudia, the newsletter sounds interesting. Did you already have a mailing list, or did you start having people sign up just recently? What email collecting or newsletter service do you use?
I currently use MailChimp. Honestly, I've never put too much effort on my mailing list. I have 2 pop-ups on my blog for people who want to join my mailing list in exchange of 2 different ebooks that I have written. So that helps a lot. So the newsletter I've been sending in this past few months has been to the usual people that have already been there for a long time. And I see that with personal newsletters rather than blog posts roundup, I see more people actually care to open and care to read and care to reply and care to share their comments and stuff, rather than just, you know, click delete or click unsubscribe.
Can you share some stats with us, like number of people in your distribution list, typical open rates?
You know, I'm terrible at this. I never check. I think I have around 1,000 400 subscribers, which is not that many given what the size my blog used to be before this pandemic. But you know, they're there. They know they get the newsletter, and it was growing steadily before the pandemic, because you know, the more people were looking for this specific destinations, they would get a pop-up, and then they would get invited to the newsletter so that they could download the ebook. Opening rate, I have to say, I haven't bothered checking. Maybe 40, 60%. I don't know. I would lie if I told you.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fair. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you. Walter, do you have any inputs on this, or because you also do email newsletters?
Yeah, we are mainly doing newsletters. On our website, we have over 100 ebooks people can download about all kinds of destinations in Europe. And based on that, we are building our newsletter. In the beginning, we worked with like a self-made newsletter engine, but we also moved to MailChimp. Okay, I have to say it's not that cheap to work with it, but for us it gives us a lot of added value, because it's a very direct way to communicate with our audience. So you are a little bit independent from the engines like Google or Pinterest, and you can communicate directly into the newsletter of your audience, or in the mailbox of your audience, sorry.
Cool.
Do you have some stats for us?
Yes, I have. Yeah, we have a really large audience. We are above 500,000. So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, okay, we are working on this for more than 10 years.
Wow.
So.
That's huge. Okay. That's cool. Our next question is from Mike to all of our panelists, which is actually the one question I've been waiting for today. What have you found to be the best implementation of Get Your Guide for highest conversions? This is probably the most asked question in all of our sessions. Yeah, maybe we can start with you, Jurga.
Links, just simple text links work best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently started implementing some widgets. I can't say how they work because I just started now. But in the past, the things I saw in the past, it was really simple text links. And personal recommendations usually help as well.
Cool. And how about you, Claudia?
Yeah, it's the same. It's exactly the same. I implement links wherever it is appropriate, you know, brief description of the tour. Obviously, if you have done the tour, it's an advantage because then you can describe it much better. I have been trying implementing widgets, but I have been having issues with that. So I'm already talking to Renato about this, so he knows that I'm having an issue with that. So I wanted to try. I wanted to experiment with that a little bit and see what happens. But otherwise, I usually
Links. Okay. Walter?
I would say write great content. That's the best integration. So
that goes without saying.
so,
Answer the questions that the readers have.
Yeah. From there on, and then use links. But we are always using links in combination with the widgets, like have text link and below have some extra widgets, so people have and the text and the visual component together. So I think that's the best thing you can do. There's no secret about it. It's also on the Get Your Guide blog, so you can read it there. But I think the main thing is the good content. So
yeah, cool. I think we still have a few more minutes, by the way, everyone. So if you have a few more questions, please don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Ask your questions. I think this is more.
I think the other two are more comments than questions. So to fill the gap, I would suggest I already spoke about content strategy to deliver domestic travel related content to your audience. And Walter already answered the question. Maybe Claudia, and you want to step in as well. What do you do to address domestic demand?
I think I'm gonna speak for both of us. And when you have a website in English and you're not in an English-speaking country, you can't do much unless you just recently visited one of those places and have lots of fresh content. It's really difficult.
And you are not changing this?
I'm not changing it. I did prioritize some blog posts which I had in my to-do list for a long time, which were about places in the US. But for the rest, no.
And same for you, Claudia?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I wrote about New York a lot because I had a lot to write that I hadn't written yet. And then I optimized a couple of posts about California. And then I had a couple of guest posts from actually this new blogger, but she wrote some really good content about Colorado, which I was really happy to have since I used to live there for 2 years. And, you know, it was a long time ago, longer than I care to remember, but you know, definitely pre-blogging. And so I didn't have photos, I didn't have anything. And so when she asked whether I wanted a blog post or two about Denver and Colorado, I said yes. But that's the only thing I have done. And you know, the rest is like Jurga, you know, write from what you remember from the last trips you've taken to the city. And in my case, it hasn't been much.
Thank you, Claudia. I guess we should share, well, no. Then let's, perhaps we have 8 minutes left, 7. So then maybe the last question also from my end. What's your personal perspective on how the COVID-19 will change the future of travel and how that will impact bloggers or online publishers? And let me start with Jurga.
Yeah, I think in the short term, it's a huge impact with yeah, just very little demand, especially for international travel. I think at the same time, lots of people do want to travel, so that desire to travel is still there, and I think it will bounce back, but it will take a while. And I think this summer we will mainly see road trips, because people still want to get away, especially in Europe, I think, to a country next door, even if it's possible, just something different. And I also think that nature destinations will be extremely popular. Maybe also people will try camping and glamping instead of going to big hotels, trying to avoid big groups of people. And I think in the long term, if you're talking about 2-3 years from now, I think travel will boom more than it did before, because I think lots of people are just postponing things now. And for publishers, I think lots of smaller bloggers and smaller businesses will probably be disillusioned by this whole get rich quick and travel the world for free idea. So I think we will probably see lots of beginning bloggers quitting, or maybe fewer people starting. I think bigger bloggers will probably survive this, but they will have to probably cut some costs and depending on their business structure. And at the same time, we also have a business in most of our cases, but we don't have the costs associated with that. So we can wait this out. Just hope it doesn't take too many months. But if it's just a couple of months, I think most publishers will be okay. But, so that's about it, I think.
Interesting. It's something similar that we also see on the supplier side. And I'm very fortunate that my wife just took a new job and she has a company car, and we just decided we take a camper. So we absolutely follow your prediction. Claudia, how about yourself? What's your prediction?
Pretty much what Jurga said. I wanted to give a little bit the other side of the coin, because lots of destinations are suffering right now. I think lots of them are going to have to invest quite a bit in marketing campaigns. And so bloggers are going to play a crucial role in promoting travel, inviting travel, suggesting travel. In fact, some destinations are already doing that, and they're already planning, you know, very initial stages of planning, but it is happening already. The idea of that Jurga was saying of start a blog to travel the world, that was a bad idea to begin with. I think we all agree on that. There's very little glamour in having a travel blog. It's more work than most people would imagine, and there's nothing there's no such thing as free travel. It's not free. The minute you have to create content, that's not free. So people that are thinking of getting into the market with that idea in mind will probably never gonna succeed, which is sad, but.
Thank you, Claudia, and over to you, Wouter.
Yeah, it all depends on short term how the pandemic will evolve. Will there be a second or third wave? Yes or no during the winter? That will have a great impact on next year, because always from January on we are building the season for next year. So if there is a new wave in December, January 2021 will be impacted too. So that's in short term, and in long term, I think bloggers will be will need to be more creative. Try to find some cooperation and partnerships with other bloggers or companies, like we are trying to do with the content sharing platform. I think things like that will move a little bit away from content creation, and so you have not that much competition, because now there's like less market for the same amount of bloggers, so it will be more difficult upcoming years.
Yes. I hope though, as we see that there's also a trend from physical to online, we actually believe and can also already see that there is an increasing digital transformation also of the overall booking behavior. So we hope that we all together get to benefit from that. Thank you very much again, Jorga and Claudia and Wouter, for your great contributions. There was also several comments on how helpful your answers were. So I also want to pass on that positive feedback from the audience. Thank you very much. I wish you all a great day, and let's hang in this crisis together. And let's overcome it. We see really good green shoots already in our numbers, numbers doubling every week. So let's hope this keeps continuing like this, or even accelerating, so that soon there will also be good monetization again of the great work that you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.